the total area is equal to a squared, and we have two of the ABs, so we just add 2ab, and finally we have the plus b squared. So whenever I teach my pre-calculus class, I always tell my students, you have to know your algebra really well, because algebra is like the backbone of pre-calculus and also calculus and many other math classes. In particular, you really should be familiar with these 5 special products. Especially in pre-calculus, you should know the formulas and use them to do questions like this. So we are going to talk about the formulas first, and I'll show you guys some examples. At the end, I will show you some proofs for some of this. So here we go. First one, if we have a plus b in the parentheses squared, we will get a squared plus 2ab and then plus b squared. Notice there is this middle term, plus 2ab. A lot of people just put the 2 here and the 2 here and get a squared and b squared. That's not enough. There is the middle term. For the next one, if it's a minus, we will have pretty much the same thing, a squared, but here it's a minus 2ab, and then finally this is a plus b squared. Okay? So this is how you expand a binomial, right? A binomial squared. If it's a plus, if it's a minus. So continue. Next one, if you have a minus b times a plus b, this is going to give us the difference of 2 squares. We get a squared minus b squared. Finally, let's see the third power. For this one, we are going to start off by, you know, it's not going to be as easy as a squared. So a to the third power plus b to the third power. There's more stuff. Here we go. A to the third power plus 3a squared b, and then plus 3a to the first power, and then b squared, and lastly plus b to the third power. Okay, so we have the a to the third power, b to the third power, but there is the middle term here and then another term in the middle. Yeah, somewhere in the middle. So 3 and 3. Okay, 3 and 3. These are the coefficients. And notice the powers of a goes down, right? By 1, 3, 2, 1, and then 0, no a. And then powers of b goes up. B to the 0, right? No b, and then b to the first, b to the second, and b to the third. So that's how you can remember it. Next, the last one. If we have a minus, the first term is positive, a to the third power, and then you are going to alternate the signs. So you have the minus, also 3, and then a squared b. Right, alternate the signs, positive, negative, positive, and then a b squared, and then last term, minus b to the third power. Yeah. So make sure you write this down. If you want to take a screenshot right now, yes, you can do it. But anyways, you write this down, know them really well, and let's take a look at some examples. Okay, for the first one, we have 5x plus 6y in the parentheses and then square. Well, of course, we'll use the first formula, and let me just work that out for you guys. Right here, we take the 5x to be our a, so we have to do a squared, and that's 5 squared being 25, and then x squared, so 25x squared. And to continue, we add, here we have the 2 times ab, right? So 2 times 5 is 10, times 6 is 60, and then also put down the x times y, just like that. Finally, we add b squared. So we take the 6y and square that. Make sure you do 6 squared as well. So that's 36, and then y squared. Just like this. Right? Just like that. And now let me fill in the intermediate step for you guys. First, we did 5x for the a squared. That's how we get this. And then we add 2 times ab, A is 5x, and then B is 6y. 2 times 5 times 6 is 60, and x times y is xy. Lastly, plus 6y in the parentheses and squared. That's how we get the 36y squared. And we're done. Now for the second one, we have 2x to the third power minus 5 in the parentheses and then square. So we'll be using this formula. If it's a minus, here it's a minus, and then the last term is plus. So here we go. We are going to square the first term. So 2 squared is 4. And then x cubed squared, we will have to multiply the powers. 3 times 2 is 6. So that's the new power. We will have x to the 6. Continue. It's minus. Take 2 from here. 2 times this 2 is 4. And then 4 times this 5 is 20. And then remember, we still have the variable part. And then continue. The last term is plus. And then take 5. Square that, which is 25. Just like this. Okay, so this is the intermediate steps. It's okay to just go from here to here though, okay? And that's the purpose of using the formula. So right here, we square the first term. This is the a, so we have 2x to the third power and then squared. 2 squared is 4, x to the third power squared is just x to the 6th power. Notice for this one, there's no plus, there's no minus in between. We can just distribute the power and then work out like this. Only when we have the minus or the plus like earlier, we really have to work it out, and there is that middle term. Okay, continue. It's a minus, so it's a minus. Take 2 times the first term times the second term. So 2x to the third power, and then just put a 5 here. Just put a 5, not a negative, because the negative, it was accounted for right here already. Finally, we add, and then we have this 5, and then squared. So negative 2 times 5 is 20 here, negative 20, and then x cubed. 5 squared is 25, and we're done. Okay, number 3. Notice we have this square root minus 2, and the same square root term plus 2. So this is in the form of a minus b times a plus b, and then we will end up a squared minus b squared. This is the a, and the 2 is the b. So this is what we are going to get. Square the first term. Square root and the square will cancel each other. So we will just have the inside 3x plus 7. So that's the a squared part. And then we will have the minus. Take the 2, square that. 2 squared is 4. So it's just like this. Now you can do this, 7 minus 4, so work that out. So final answer, 3x plus 3. Don't factor out the 3 though, because your goal is to multiply it out. That will be the final answer. Now, in the middle, this is what happened. When we have a minus b times a plus b, we first get, this is our a. So put that inside of the parentheses and then square that. And then here is the b, which is just the 2. So minus the 2 and then square that. For the first part, square and square root cancel. That's how we get this. And then for the second part, 2 squared is 4, and then bring down the minus. And then finally, if you can combine any terms, do it. Just like this. Now, for number 4, we are dealing with the third power. Here we go. We'll use this formula. So a is the 2x, b is the 5. Start off by doing a cube. So 2x in the parentheses, cube that. 2 to the third power, 2 cubed is 8. And then also do the x. So 8x to the third power. To continue, it's a plus, so it's a plus. Take the 3 from the formula. 3 times a squared. A squared, this right here, it's a little bit harder to do in your head. So maybe it's just easier if you kind of write down the formula and then kind of just write down the first step. Okay. So earlier we have the 2x and then third power. So that's how we get this. Now next we add 3 times a, which is 2x, and then second power, and remember we have to multiply b, which is the 5, and that's to the first power. To continue, you can see a pattern. It's 3, and then the a is 2x, but just to the first power now because the power of a goes down, right? But the power of b goes up, so you have 5 squared. Lastly, we add 5 to the third power. Feel much better. So of course, write things down if necessary, especially when the power gets big. So let's see. This is 2x squared, which is 4x squared. 3 times 4 is 12, times 5 is 60. And then we have the x squared. Now, for this, we add 5 squared is 25. So let's work on the numbers. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 25, right? This is 6 times 25 is 150. That's 150. And then this is just x to the first power. And then finally, 5 to the third power, 5 times 5 times 5, we get 125. So I will still say this right here is easier compared to write this down 3 times and then multiply it out. This right here is much better. One more example. Okay, number 5, x squared minus 2y and then third power. So this is our a, this is our b, and here is the formula. Here we go. I'm just going to set it up for you guys. A to the third power, so x squared and then third power. Continue, we have a minus because this is a minus. Take the 3 times the a, which is x squared, and then remember the power of a goes down, right? And then we will have to multiply by the b, and just the 2y though, because the negative, it was accounted for right here already. And then just continue, plus, the sign alternates. So plus 3, a is x squared, here is to the first power, and then times b, which is 2y, here is to the second power. And then finally, minus b, which is 2y, and then lastly, it's the third power. So this is the write out. Now we just have to work it out. Here we have x squared, and then to the third power, we multiply the powers, we get x to the 6th power. Continue. This is x to the 4th power, okay? And then we will have to do negative, right? This is the negative 3 times 2, so that's minus 6, and then x to the 4th power y. For this one, we work this out first, right? Exponent part first. So 2y squared, that's 4y squared, right? 3 times 4 is 12. And then we have the x squared, and then this y squared. And finally, 2 to the third power is 8, and that's a minus, bring that down, and we have the 8, and then y to the third power. Yeah, just like this, right? Just like this. So here are the examples, and of course, for this kind of questions, it takes practice, right? As long as you are willing to take the time and put in effort to practice, you can master them. Finally, I'll show you guys the reasons why these formulas are the way they are. Alright, for the first one, let's take a look at a plus b squared. And I'm just going to show you guys this right here geometrically. Have a look. For a, we can look at it as a length like this, and let's say this much right here is a. And I'm going to duplicate it right here. So it's the same length, same segment. So that's also going to be a. Now, we can enclose this right here and we get a little square, right? But I want to have a plus b. This is a already. I can just extend it a little bit. Let's say this much right here is the additional b part. I'm going to do the same thing right here to this side. So a plus b. And then I'm going to finish my squared. Have a look. We have a plus b squared. A plus b, and it is a square. Now if you take a look right here, if you just kind of finish it, the area of this square is what? Just a times a, that's a squared. A to the second power, a squared, that's the geometry. And then for this one, the area is a from here times b from here. So that's AB. And then the area right here, A times B, which is AB. And finally, we have a little corner here. That's B right here, B right here. So this area is B squared. So have a look. The total area is equal to A squared. And we have two of the ABs, so just add 2AB. And finally, we have the plus B squared. Right? So this is the geometry proof for the first one. Now for the second one, I'm going to show you guys the algebra proof. So when we have A minus B squared, whenever there's like a minus, it's hard to use the length argument from geometry. So for this right here, this I'm just going to write it down twice because that's what the square means. So write down A minus B times A minus B. And then let's just multiply this out by doing the following. A times A gives us A squared. A times minus B, that's minus AB. And then continue. Take this minus B now, because we finished with this already. Take this minus B times A. Let's write down the A first, alphabetically. Right? That's a minus AB. And finally, take this times that. That's going to be a minus B squared. Now, we have this and that, two of them the same thing. Combine like terms. A squared minus 2 of the AB, and then minus B squared. Just like this. Okay, for number 3, we know that this right here is our result. And here, I want to show you guys the geometry proof for this. And I'm actually going to go backwards. When we go backwards, this is called factoring. And this is called difference of two squares. Have a look. For A squared, I'm just going to draw this segment to be A. And then do the same thing here, A here. So we have A squared. But I'm going to subtract B squared. So that means we are going to take away a little corner. And that corner has to be a square as well. So let's say I'm going to take away this right here. So I'm going to take this away. And this is B here and then B here. So I'm just looking for the rest of the area. Well, what will happen though? Have a look. I'm going to make a cut and I'm going to put this to here. So what's going to happen is that we will only have this right here now. And then if you take this, put it here, it will be longer, right? So this much is A, but if you take this, which is our B, and I'm just going to take it, put it here. So this is going to be the B here. And we have a rectangle. Have a look. On the top is A, and then this is the additional B, so that's A plus B. But how about on the side? Originally, from here to here, it's A, but we take away this much, which is the B, right? This is minus B. So this side is A minus B. So as we can see, we have the first factor, A minus B, and then the second factor is A plus B. When you multiply, we get this area for the rectangle, which is this shape. When you have a big square, take away a little square. So that's how we can prove the formula. That's it. Now, for A plus B to the third power, if you do geometry, we are not going to just draw a square, but rather we will have to draw a cube because that's the 3D world, right? It's nearly impossible for me to draw like a cube like this and then count however many like little parts that we have. So I'm just going to do the algebra for this right here for you guys. This means we do A plus B times A plus B and then times A plus B. And then just multiply it out. Do the first two first though. But didn't we do this earlier? Yes, that's the first formula. So I'm just going to write down the result. A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. And then right here we have the A plus B. Now, just multiply this out. Take this, multiply with the first, we have A cubed. Take A squared times this, we have plus A squared B. Done with that, take this now, 2ab times a, we get plus 2a times a, which is a squared, and then the b. And then take this times this, we have plus 2a and then b squared. Finally, we have to take the b squared times a, which is plus ab squared, and lastly, this times that, plus b cubed. Have a look. Here we have a cube, a squared b, and then 2a squared b, so together is plus 3a squared b. And then 2ab squared, one more b squared, altogether 3ab squared. Finally, plus b cubed. That's it. All right, last one. So just like what we did earlier, I'm just going to do algebra. So I'll write this down 3 times and then multiply it out to show you guys the answer. For the first two, we already know from formula number 2. So that gives us a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And then we have to multiply with a minus b right here. Okay, here we go. A squared times a, we get a cubed, and then a squared times b, that's a minus b. So that's a minus a squared b. Done with that, take this times this now, that's minus 2a squared b. And then take this times this, minus times minus, we get a plus, and then 2ab squared. And then lastly, we take this times this, which is plus ab squared. And finally, take this times that, we get minus b cubed. And then we see that this right here stays, but minus a squared b minus 2a squared b, that's minus 3a squared b. And then this and that, we can say that's plus 3ab squared. And lastly, we have the minus b cubed, just like this. Is there a fast way to do the bigger powers? Yes, there's something called the Pascal's triangle. I do have another video for that. You guys can go check that out. But hopefully this video was helpful. Best of luck to you guys in your math class. That's it.